Hey guys, so welcome back to Cadence RC. Hey, so today's video will be a little bit more serious. Um, we found out this week that our track, 2CRC, our indoor track, it's gone. We lost our local indoor track, and so I'm out of the Boise, Idaho area. We're a winter community, right? I've got a ski hill like 25 minutes from my house, and so we have long winters here, so indoor tracks are important. You know, here we are. Thank God we've got this. So we've got in Eagle, part of our little community here, we've got this amazing outdoor facility. This is a super cool place out at Eagle Hills. They've got a BMX track. They've got mountain biking tracks and downhill facilities. There's cross country trails out there for mountain biking. There's an awesome dog park, good clean bathrooms, and with actual flushing toilets, and nice comfortable place to spend a day other than just being like it gets hot here. It was 100 degrees this weekend for the races. I actually got out last night, and so just thinking about what we're doing, thinking about what to talk about on this video, because I think it's really important that we support the local racing community, and we support the in our local stores and our local tracks, and keep everything super positive, and make this stuff survive, because it's I wish I could be a basher. I wish I could go out and buy one of these great big RC cars and go play in the park and think that that was going to be fun. I need a goal, and I really love having something to look forward to when I'm driving my RC car, and for me that's having the goal of racing, and like seeing my lap times and seeing my own driving improvement and knowing verifiably that I'm getting better as a driver is fun. I've mentioned, I think I've mentioned in my last video, I've been racing for about 6 months, and it's something that I've wanted to do my whole life. I'm almost 50, and so as a kid, I remember like the RC10. We had a store open up in our community, and they had the Gold Pan RC10 in the window, and it was like, oh my God, they were so expensive. It's crazy to think RC. You guys, anybody that thinks that RC cars are expensive now, think about this: the RC Pen slider, so nothing in it. No wheels, no nothing. You had to buy a body. Was $350 when I was a kid, and that was in like that. I think that was about '88 that I remember looking at that car and dreaming of getting into this. And I just never lived in a place where we had an RC track, so there was never any reason. I bought a car back in I bought I think I've shown you my little truck, my Losi XXD. I bought that thing in like 1998. I've had it all this time. I figured, the batteries on those things last about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And I figured I drove that thing for a grand total of maybe 35 minutes the whole time I had it, that I have had it. I haven't decided. I need to talk to one of my friends. Two of my friends want to buy that car from me, and one of them will get it, because I don't want to try to maintain that old car. But anyway, back to the video. Just really wanted to point out how important it is to make sure that we're supporting our local community, and trying to build new drivers, and encourage new people to come. I think I talk about all the time the importance of I purposely run a lot of less expensive cars. I actually raced this weekend with my Arrma Typhon 3S. It's an older, the BLX version, so it's what became the 223, and it was terrible this weekend. It was so hot out. It was like 99 degrees out yesterday, and as the day progressed, the car just got worse and worse, because all the fluids just turned to nothing, and it was completely unpredictable come main event time, and so it was brutal. But I also raced my Slash 4x4, which my Slash 4x4, I've got a big motor system in it, but it's, at the end of the day, it's not that far off from an Ultimate, and I actually think I could probably run an Ultimate pretty much identical to how I'm running my truck. And yesterday I won. So, these things can be pretty good, and can be plenty fast. I think making sure that we're not afraid to maybe show up with some cheaper cars. I'd love to see more tracks, and this is the importance of where we're at with the RC racing uh, everywhere, because I see tracks. I just watched a video from 3 days ago of another guy that lost his track. I know Mark Santa Maria, he did a video a few months ago talking about how his local track closed up, and you know, I'm seeing a shocking amount of it, and it's because it's so expensive to run. You know, if you're doing an indoor facility, it's so expensive. Something like this is all public land. This is not rented for a whole lot of money, and so you know, you have to bring in your facilities. You do all the bringing in the trucks and making it all work. It still costs a lot of money to make something happen. These are not-for-profit type organizations that, but at the end of the day, the overhead is next to nothing, and so that's going to keep these outdoor tracks going. But if you're like me and you live in a winter community, we got to figure out other ways. So been talking to some friends. We're working on, my friend Hector is working really hard to work with another couple of friends to set up a on-road racing series here. We're trying to get this thing going in July is the plan. So if you're in the Boise area and you want to do some on-road, we're going to be racing TT01, Kyosho TT01, TT02, and the trucks. It'd be super fun to do some on-road. I've been talking to Scott about maybe, you know, he wants to do some drag racing. These guys are trying to make me buy more cars, Mini Z racing, and you know, figure out how to do something. And I've been talking to friends about, you know, what do we do? Like, how do we reapproach, you know, these giant buildings? The facility that we were in for 2CRC, I know it was very expensive to rent that building. You know, how do we make it work in a smaller space? And you know, I really think there's such a huge growing contingent in the smaller scale RC cars. Some amazing cars. The Mini B is an insane race car. You've got the Typhon series, the Groms. You've got, I know Traxxas Losi has the Mini B and the T. There, and I know there's a few others out there of like 16 scale, 18 scale, smaller RC cars that would work in a much smaller space and you know, make something happen. I wish I could say I had the time. You know, I try and find the bandwidth to do these videos. That's why you don't see a whole lot of videos, because like my business has been very busy, which has afforded the ability for me to grab a couple more cars and to not feel bad about maybe buying a couple more so that I can support these other things that we've got going. But I also don't have a whole lot of time to set aside. I certainly couldn't start my own track. I wish I could say that I could, but anyway, yeah, just, you know, really want to you know, spin some negative into some positive, and get you guys thinking, and you know, get other tracks thinking about, you know, how do we maintain and how do we keep ourselves going? Because I think it's really important that, you know, I also come from a BMX background, and I can tell you, as a BMX racer, like, you know, kids leave when they're 16. As soon as they get a driver's license, they're not racing BMX anymore. And they maybe come back to it when they're grown-ups, but you don't get a whole lot of grown-ups. I usually had, you know, I started ironically at 22 years old racing BMX, and that's when we got a track. And you know, we worked really hard, but you know, I pushed really hard to make sure that the kids were supported and the kids were having fun. And you know, and I ran kids around the track and taught them how to ride, and taught them how to look at the track, and really worked hard to make sure that the kids were having as much fun as they could have. And we kind of need to make sure that we're doing the same thing as a community, that we're fostering new talent. We had a kid, I mean, probably 10 years old, show up with, I don't know what that little tiny car was, at the track yesterday. And I'll tell you what, that kid can wheel. He's going to be a super fast racer if, you know, he's encouraged into it, which I think everybody was really, really cool to him. It's actually the second time I've seen him out at a race. I think last time they came and watched, and this was the first time he actually entered. So, you know, novice class, got out and spun some laps and had a good time, and I know he had a ball. So, you know, we need to make sure that we're supporting the community, the racing community, in every way we can, and I think making sure that we're not having like elitist, I hate to say, I see a lot of elitist attitude across, you know, this sport, but ironically there is, and you know, you see I'm the guy that shows up with a slash, and people kind of used to give me a hard time. And I think people have kind of come to terms with the fact that, one, I'm going to make that slash fast. And if you're not careful, I'm going to beat you and I'm going to embarrass you with the slow car. And, because I've done it. And, and that's awesome. That's what we need. We need to see people not afraid to work hard. And I'm going to share some more, I've shared videos on how to set up some of my cars, and I'm going to share some stuff on what I know. I don't know that I'm I don't know if I've really mastered setting up the truck yet, but I do have some things that I can share with you guys, and maybe you can get you guys racing your slash if you're running a slash, and having a good time. Because man, I want to see the point of entry drop, the number of entries increase, and I want to see this community grow. And it starts with us. It starts with the racers. Whether you're a new guy like me, or you're if you're it's like some of my friends. I've got friends that have been racing for 40 years, and but yeah, let's get us new guys out there racing and having a good time. So anyway, yeah, signing off for this video. I can't wait to see you guys in the next. And yeah, let's go racing.